Cole here. This will probably be, I don't know which episode of Cole Has No Friends. I'm gonna get a conversation going with Clinton, hopefully, who is our most sought at friend on Cole Has No Friends. And that's if he accepts my Zoom invite. And I love this because we do this spontaneously. And I just want to say, I'm going to encourage Clinton to start his own YouTube channel so that we can kind of cross reference these things because it's very fun to talk to him. But let's see what he ends up doing. That being said, our most recent conversation was with our mutual friend. In a sense, I probably spent a little more time with him in back in the day, but our mutual friend Alex Gilbertson. It was a very interesting conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. Um, I, I just want to be very clear when we go into topics that could be considered controversial to some people. I don't want anybody to mistake my philosophical arguments for, uh, you know, uh, the way that I like to discuss things and the way that my mind works is I sort of, I think I have a, I think I have an innately maybe slightly contrarian view, but I don't think it's coming from like my fundamental baseline is not to be contrarian. It's just that I find that when I express my thoughts clearly and when I try to look at what is actually rational and logical, sometimes they can come off as contrarian. And I think sometimes when you're having a philosophical argument, it can be easy for people to read a lot of subtext into that. And I don't think that's a good thing. I think it's probably best to not try and read a bunch of subtext into things when you're having a philosophical argument. I think, and I think that's where the tide is shifting to, and I'm very glad to see that because that's always how I've lived, which is that um, contentious issues do not upset me, and other people's well, I mean, I can get passionate about it, but other people's opinions do not upset me, um, even if they vehemently disagree with me. It doesn't upset me. Uh, I mean, obviously, personal attacks. I mean, I'm only human, so if somebody was to personally attack me, I might find that slightly upsetting. But to be very honest, I like when people disagree with me. I think it's interesting, and I like to hear people's rationale for things. And I think that's what good conversation should be. I think a good conversation should be, hey, we disagree, but we walk away as friends. You know what I mean? Like, I think we could all benefit from that. Like, I don't care if my friend has the complete opposite political view to me in every possible way. I'm still going to entertain their arguments and respect their viewpoint. And I may try to push and prod, but I'm completely cool with alternate like positions that disagree with mine. Clinton just said, I can hit you up in a little bit. Otherwise, I would have to cut it super short. I got to go pick up my kid from football practice in like 15 minutes.
Bro,
What's up, buddy?
nothing. What's going on?
Not too much, man. We've never done a short conversation before.
Well,
And
no, that's why I said if you could wait like till after 5:30 ish, because my kid's gonna be calling me on Snapchat anytime here. Come get me.
okay, you were not
He said he was
specific.
done at 5:30, but
You
he's
were not
usually done
specific
like
about the time.
5:15 or 5:30. That's why I was like, if you waited till then I wouldn't have. Then I could just jump on and it could stay on for a while. But
Bro, you look 5 years younger from the last time I saw you.
I feel 5 years older and I look like shit. But it's because I shave my beard
Isn't that
probably.
weird though? That's like a weird fucking like I think it's an interesting thing about I've sort of accepted over the last however many years like that's part of what has happened like becoming sort of like posting like when you're doing like the artist thing and you post pictures of yourself, which is kind of awkward when you're not. I mean, it's a hard thing to like acclimate to. But what I've really started to accept, like I never used to care about like fashion and blah 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 blah. But what you
Hmm.
realize is that just people have these like innate reactions to stuff, and you just sort of have to accept that. And in a way, like we all sort of do accept it. Like when we used to walk around in sweatpants and whatever in Park Rapids, there was a part of us that knew how that was going to be perceived in a way. But it's interesting how like something as simple as shaving your beard, it actually like you literally do like I'm not saying you looked old before it, not at all, but you actually do look like you look like you've had like a fucking it's almost like the vibe is not like, oh, he shaved his beard. The vibe is like, oh man, this guy just got out of the shower. He's like he's fresh. You're giving off a fresh vibe, bro. That's what's up. And I'm not hitting on you. I'm not
Greasy
trying to
hair and
I'm not
shaved
trying to
beard.
like butter your biscuit or whatever, you know? I'm
No,
just
you're good. No, I was gonna say the last time I shaved it up because I shaved it off completely once, because I hadn't done it in probably like 15 years because I've always kept it grown out, for like probably the last 15 years or whatever. And so there's like, well, obviously not, but so I shaved it off completely one day and because Kaylee was like, you should do that once. I just want to see what you look like. And I said, trust me, you don't. And so I did it. And when she was at work one day, I wasn't at work that day. Or maybe I was and I got home before her. I can't remember. Anyways, shaved it. She comes home and she's like, oh my God, never do that again. She's like, I feel like a pedophile. And
oh.
I'm like, what? She's like, you look way too young now. And I'm like, and it looked weird, right? Because like I had like this baby face, which doesn't necessarily look good on me. But I had like this baby face, and then I have like, my gray hair. So it was just like a weird combination of like looking like I'm 18 with gray hair, I guess. So
But no, but okay, Clint, can I tell you something?
yeah,
I'm gonna butter your biscuit right now.
I'll
Here's,
get butter that biscuit, baby. Lather it up real nicely. Get all that kinds of butter on it. Want some fucking get some
here's the deal.
fucking
You know what? Here's what you have that I don't have and that I wish I had. This is something that I'm envious of, okay? And here's the thing. Even when you shave, you could go completely clean shaven and you do not have a baby face. But here's the thing. Some people
yes, I do.
no, but hold on. Some people have a face where it's like on the opposite. And again, no disrespect. Like that's fine. Like, it's all just like in God, it is what it is. It's genes, it's
Well,
God.
maybe not a baby face. I just look really young. It's gross.
Yeah, but you look really young, but here's the thing. You have a very impressive jaw and jawline. And and it and here's what I'm saying is like that is like a dude, if I shaved right now, I would probably actually look 5 to 10 years older. Like because the thing is like I like when I was young it was fine, but I don't have like strong jaw like chin features. So it's like basically I would look like I mean because I have a round face. You have a very like kind of strong, you have a Stearns. They call you Stearns for a reason. Stern. You look stern, dude. Like if I
Oh,
if I
Christ.
shave my beard, dude, I'm gonna look like a little gentle thing that is like a little bit past its expiration date. And and it's just like I wish I had that, man. You basically have the jaw that people do as like an implant. Like where like, oh, I'm gonna go get a jaw reconstruction. I wanna look like this guy. You've got that like and here's the thing. So use that to your advantage, dude. Use that to your advantage.
I think it. I think it comes to me as a at a disadvantage sometimes.
Why?
I don't know.
In what sense?
Because it's
I'm
like
actually
a.
that's very curious.
I feel like. I feel like. Especially with like my tattoos now and stuff, like this one up here, and like the tattoos I have, and then I've got like the strong jaw, but I've also got like the strong brow line too, and I always just look like I'm pissed off all the time. I think it comes at a disadvantage to me when it comes to like job interviews because I try to come across like a likable person, but like if you don't really know me, sometimes that whole vibe can give off like asshole, dickhead vibes.
You know what's sad about that? Because I totally get why you might perceive that, but first of all, as I've told you before on a previous conversation, I think that's them being, not perceptive and whatever. But it's also because that's totally like, yeah, I've always thought of you as a dude who, I mean, I think that there's a reason that you chose Sith and I chose Jedi, right? Like we understand that. Like
Well, now that I've lost weight though, because I was like 160 before, so like my jaw was like not as defined now, but now like I'm back down to like my high school weight. Yeah, it's definitely become like more pronounced, but I've gotten so used to it, I don't really notice it. I have had people though say that. It was funny that Alex brought it up
yeah, but I actually
because I
forgot
haven't
about the
because I
specific.
haven't
Did
heard
he
that in a
bring that?
long
Did he bring
time.
that up?
Yeah.
I can't
Alex did.
remember
Remember
that.
we were when we were talking to Alex is like because we were talking about like how you have like the nice hair and then Alex, I think, was like the runner, sober body looking, and then it's like, yeah, but Clinton's got that jaw or whatever. And I'm like, oh Christ, and he's like laughing about it. It's like, oh, you've always had that. I've heard a few people say it like back in the day, but it was like women when I would date them, they'd be like, oh yeah, and it was kind of like okay, whatever. So that's the first time I've heard. I didn't even don't even think about it anymore until Alex said something. Now
And then,
you're trying to compete with Alex, and I get it,
no, 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 but hold
but
on. No, but actually, this is funny because deep down, honestly, like this is a good example of how when you share information, you have to accept the fact that it's now basically you're basically downloading a package of thought and information into somebody else. Because first of all, I have always thought this in it, you know what I mean? Like it's not something, but I the weird,
I always feel like I remember you kind of having a very
but
like
here,
not as like pronounced, but yours was kind of square, wasn't it? But I haven't seen it in so long
but here's
that
I just want to say this one like this one thing, and then that's interesting that you say that, uh, but it's interesting how like in both things are exactly true. Like I haven't watched the video that we did with Alex yet,
hmm
but I believe you. I believe that he said that, but I swear to God I don't remember that he said that. And it's kind of funny how one like unconsciously just I mean, I was basically primed subconsciously from Alex to think about that, even though I didn't even know that he said that.
do you honestly don't remember him saying that? Or are
Swear to
you
God, I don't because
fucking with me?
we were sort of in no, I was listening, but we were sort of in the middle of also like I was processing it differently. Like that's why I like watching our things because when I watch, then I'm not the one. I'm not actually thinking and coming up with what
Right.
I'm saying.
No, yeah, I get it. I get
So
it.
then watching the whole thing in retrospect is like I'm sure I'm gonna see it and be like, oh my God, that's so obvious. And then I'm gonna probably see myself looking oblivious to that like comment. But it's just interesting how you can plant seeds in people psychologically, like subconsciously, where they don't remember you said it, but then they integrate that like into their psyche, and that is what we're doing
Right.
all the time. I mean, but we don't think about it, and that's why it's kind of cool to record conversations because then you get this whole like track record. Like I forgot that we, in that conversation that I posted, which was the first time that I recorded our call, when I posted that and started watching it, I was like, "Oh my God, this is like the perfect pilot because I don't even remember that we and you brought up Alex Gilbertson and I forgot that you brought him up."
Yeah, that was funny. You know what? Because I remember because when you were telling me, because I, I hadn't got to that part yet. You were talking about because you were messaging me, and it's like this
Yeah.
is like a perfect pilot, and I was like, I was kind of like, what is he talking about? And I kind of figured, oh, we must have talked about Alex or something, and I honestly thought it would have been you.
Yeah.
You would have been the one to bring it up, and for some reason, I just thought of Alex, and I don't know why. And because he hadn't come up in the conversation, so maybe it was something we were talking. If I went back to look, but like I just brought him up randomly,
Yes.
and then we're like, "Oh yeah, we should do that." And did we try to do that? Were you trying to do that when we were talking that
But
time, and
that's
it
the
didn't?
thing. No, but I literally, in our conversation that was recorded, I literally messaged him for the first time then and said, like, I
Yeah,
said what I was typing to him. And I
yeah,
totally forgot about that. So if we hadn't recorded that, but then here's the funny thing all the chats that we had in the last couple of years before that, I probably did bring up Alex a few times. Like I probably did say like like it's also like you manifesting a thing that maybe I did bring up the first time like two conversations ago. So that's what I'm saying is like one forgets the source and origin the same way. So in that sense,
yeah.
in my mind, I'm like I know that I've brought up Alex Gilbertson, but I had projected that onto the whole sort of like space of us talking. But then this specific conversation was so blurry to me that I didn't realize, like, oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't know we actually like that first conversation when I watched that video, the first one we ever had.
Yeah.
I
Well, no, the
didn't
first one
really
that we
remember.
recorded, because we had been talking for quite a bit before
Yeah,
that.
no, you're right. You're right. That was the first one we recorded. So like, yeah, with that though being said, yeah, that was the I didn't really remember anything from that conversation. So when I'm sitting there
Exactly.
listening to it, I'm just like, what the hell we talked about? And I'm like, oh, Alex Gilbertson came up, and I'm like, how? But
And this is
it's
why
just
I
yeah,
want to do this, because it's like, and I also hate it because now I'm starting to feel like, and this is a little bit of like the little the needle in the brain, right? Like that little, like, once you get infected with the alien and it's like going to burst out of your chest.
he's
The
just
problem,
going in this alien phase.
no, but the but it's a good
Everything
analogy.
Cole does
No, but
right
no,
now, dude, you've been on this alien thing for 2 weeks.
the thing about that though is that
Uh,
once you have the infection, the problem is that I'm finding in my psyche that it's like I want, like, like, because I'm having all these conversations with people and I think they're interesting, even if it takes a while to catch on to why it's all so interesting. I sort of feel like, fuck, I wish I was recording this now, because for years I did that with just audio because I was like, someday I'm going to be able to go through these things and blah blah blah. But it becomes so overwhelming because audio is like, it's just in a big folder of stuff. Like I have recorded audio of conversations that we've had many times. And the thing that I always say is like, first of all, when we recorded video, you knew that it was recording and you knew that it was going
right.
to, potentially get surfaced or whatever. But here's the thing with when if I record a conversation where the person doesn't know, I would never post it without saying something, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm saying that was always my thing, but now when I started doing these like conversations where it's recorded,
Keep talking. Hold on.
yeah, now that I've been doing that, it's kind of like sometimes I feel like even when I'm talking, like I just talked to my aunt for a while, and I sprung that on her like a few months ago, where I was like, I just started recording and it said recording now in progress, and she was like, all of a sudden she hid from the camera. She was like, oh, and I was like, I know that seems weird. I know it's weird that I'm recording, but just hear me out. Like, I'll never post it without, for her, I had to be very sugar-coaty, you know what I mean? Like, and I will not, obviously, without like her explicit permission. But I was like, at least for the archives, because it's so much more. I mean, dude,
What
you
did
could
she think
actually,
about it though? Like,
well, no, she
did
actually,
she?
like, I convinced her actually within like probably 5 minutes of me rambling. She was convinced, and then we had a whole conversation, and I have it. But of course, that's not something that I could ever just like say like, oh, that's there. Here we go. This is the. I would have to go to her and be like, and she would probably say no, never. Nobody should ever see this. But I just sort of find like everybody that I talk to on a video chat, now I just want to record it because I feel like, again, with this age of AI, everything is going to be so easy to generate artificially. And the real art and the real beauty and the real interesting stuff is going to come from raw, real stuff. And people, I mean, it will be obvious or at least provable that it was not an AI generated thing. Like if you've seen the recent update from Sora, we're about to be inundated with stuff that we don't know what's real and what's not. So it's like recording
Bro,
a
I did see that.
conversation.
I'm seeing some of these videos, and obviously some of them are super like evident,
Yeah.
but like they're still, you know, like to the point where they're like taking like really like extreme things and it's making it look believable like to an extent. There's not a lot of like I mean there's still a lot of inconsistencies that you can pick out, but like the Sora thing is definitely something that's like going to be probably one of those things that blur the I mean there's a lot of AI out there now that you don't even know what is real really and what isn't unless you pick apart the video, especially when it comes to like let's say like that's why it's like kind of interesting to see like how like news and things like that are gonna go because like
Yeah, what the fuck?
it's gonna be so easy to put out propaganda stuff and you're not going to be able to tell the difference of whether or not they actually said it or didn't. It's
But but
crazy.
but take that to its logical conclusion. And the logical conclusion of just that, I mean, we can go to like ultimate logical conclusions, but we can also go to like subsets of logical conclusions. One very weird and interesting logical conclusion is, what if we had another COVID? So think about that for a second. If we had another COVID and they did another lockdown scenario and people were like confined to like before, like when we had COVID in 2020, the fucking trial run, it was like, "Oh, Netflix and, people binging on YouTube and drinking too much alcohol and blah 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 blah." Now it'll be if suddenly the government says there's a deadly virus and they lock you in your house and they say you're not allowed to leave, and then all of a sudden now you can generate videos that are convincingly real, it would be we're basically creeping into 1984 where it's like maybe in America all the videos show Europe being the bad guy and because they have real videos that look like and everybody in America is seeing the same video and then they geolock it and everybody in Europe is seeing a fake
All
video of
right.
America being the bad
Yeah,
guy.
well, I'll tell you right now, I'm as much of a conservative as the next conservative is, without like an extreme view. But I tell you what, and I think conservatism, hopefully they don't get to that point, or it doesn't become some sort of big propaganda thing. But I wouldn't care what political side I'm on when it comes to that stuff. I will not be forced into my own home against my will. And the same thing went for like there were certain like I wasn't working at a place that required it, but for the COVID shots where they required like you had to have it in order to work, I would have quit regardless of what I was getting paid because no workplace or anybody or any government
In my
entity
mind,
or
like
any bro, what
I love that that makes it look like this is AI generated. That's so funny. Okay, now that's perfect.
cool? But no, I'm just saying that oh my God,
Bro, that's the thing though.
Sora?
In the future you're not going to be able to know whether the person that you're talking that's the thing you're like the leap is like even if I do like if the only way I can ever connect with other humans is
Dude,
like
it's
this.
only been they've only been doing this AI video stuff for like what, 2 years maybe it started ago, like
I know.
until you're seeing it, like, and now it's already come to the point where there are some things obviously when they're very what is it, the satiric or whatever, that it's okay, it's very obvious that it's AI, but like there are some things that I mean, there are videos I've seen where I've actually had to go online and
And
like search it
yeah.
and be like, okay, is this real? And it's like, no, it's not. And I had to like find a third party to like officiate to make sure that like they're getting to the point.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying. What if the third parties are blocked? What if they don't exist because eventually the power structure says, you know what, we're not even going to allow you to prove. Then basically, I don't know if you remember the book 1984, but
Somewhat.
the thing about it was like obviously forget all the surveillance in the Orwellian terms like
Right. Yeah.
all that stuff. But the whole
Yeah.
premise about the environment was that all the people in all the countries didn't actually know what was happening in the real world because all they got was Big Brother telling them what they were supposed to think. And I'm
Right.
saying
So
now
it's
we have to,
kind of funny because the 1984 book was based on like mostly surveillance. I don't think there was anything about AI in there. And while we have surveillance nowadays, it's not now with this AI thing, right? You don't need to surveil people. You can just use AI and make them think what you want without having to surveil anybody and doing it kind of almost like in an opposite way to have the same effect.
what if you're doing that and surveilling? Then we're really fucked because they
Well,
already have
which,
a surveillance infrastructure.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
But
they
here's what I'm saying, Clinton. What would
everything we have, like
like
our conversations now are off somewhere into no man's land. And if somebody wants to at any given time, can probably be like, whether it's encrypted or not. I mean,
no, but here's the
it's
thing, Clinton. They
because
can
this conversation is a UDP based connection. So what that means is what we're doing is it's pretty much like it's a connection. They call it like a connectionless connection, right? So the information that you're getting when I'm talking and the video you're seeing, regardless of the quality of it, right? It's not sending any sort of like thing back telling your device or my device that the data is like being received, right? If you do like a TCP connection, that's more of a secure connection. So the data being sent between one another are communicating and saying, yes, I'm receiving this. Yes, I'm receiving this. With UDP, kind of what we're doing, like with the voice over IP and things like that. A lot of that is like connectionless. They call it connectionless, and so it's like it's not sending any information back. It just sends the information and you get what you see regardless. So that's why it's okay. things were lost in translation. Like that's why, like when you receive things and you're listening to me and I'm listening to you, and it's like, oh, what'd you say? Because you cut out. Like that's the UDP part of it, where it's not like, it doesn't need to be accurate. But with I don't know if that has anything to do. I don't know what I
I
had.
think
I
I
forgot my point. But
no, but
anyways, like
I think you
what
actually
I'm saying is, it's
yeah.
like very like it's not like super secure, right? And
No,
even if
exactly.
it and even if like we were doing like even if voice over IP or like VoIP or whatever you want to call it was like secure in terms, it's still not secure. It's just using a different way to measure. Okay, what he's like, if we were talking, there wouldn't be any cutouts. There wouldn't be anything. We'd know what we were saying because the connection would be saying yep, 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 back and forth. Whereas what we're
But here's
doing
the
now,
thing.
it's like, okay, I think
Here's
you're
the thing,
talking.
Clinton. Even if all of the criteria that you just laid out were like, let's say that you could have a secure connection, right? I would not be I would not be equipped. And listen, I'm not a
Well,
stupid.
yeah, but anytime they say
Hold on,
like secure
hold
connection,
on.
it's
Now you
never
got to stop.
secure. It's secure in our own
I know,
thing.
but now you're missing the. Now you're looking at the trees and not the forest. Let me get to the
Yeah,
big.
I know.
What I'm saying is,
Actually, I think I'm looking at the forest and not the trees because I'm
well,
just
no, I think
blanket.
actually in my scenario right now, you're looking at the trees. What
Okay.
I'm trying to say is that let's imagine that, like, even if there was such a thing as a secure connection, because people talk about that,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
because that's what you're hinting at, like that's actually what you explicitly were talking about, is like
Yeah.
verifying like authenticity, okay? But
Yeah.
even if you could, if there was some arbitrary third party, like, or maybe not arbitrary, but authoritative third party that could say this is a secure connection, I'm
Hmm.
not equipped as a random person to even be able to authenticate or validate that. Like, it doesn't even matter if it's secure because it can tell me it's secure, and because I'm not a tech guy, like I'm just
Yeah.
gonna look at that and go like, okay, okay, show me some code
Yeah.
to prove. Like, I
Right.
basically need AI.
Well, and the
Well,
dumb
hold on.
thing.
I need AI to authenticate whether something is secure. But if the whole system is AI, if it's like AI generated stuff that I'm getting that's supposed to be you, and it's coming from a, like, it's not really coming from you, but then there's an AI in the middle making it look secure, and then I have an AI on the other side that I'm using to tell me whether it's secure, and then that AI tells me it is secure, then I've basically got three layers of fucking manipulation in AI, and I have no way ever, regardless of any of this bullshit, to know whether I'm actually talking to you. That's the whole point. And now we have perfect empirical proof that you can generate videos that look basically just like this, exactly like what we're doing right now.
I don't know
So
whatever he
basically,
called.
like, I could probably train an AI exactly on the first two conversations that I posted that we had. And like in like 6 months, there's going to be some AI that's able to like regenerate a whole, like, it would basically be like if I accidentally, like, if somebody did that and then gave me like a link, there, within at least a couple years, it could easily be plausible that just based on those two episodes that I would believe that I was talking to you. And that is the disturbing part about all this, is like regardless of anything, like, this shit is being trained on all of our data. Whether I post it or don't post it, it's going to get trained on the data, so I may as well put it out there so that we can at least leave our legacy and put something down. But the bottom line is, like, this shit's going to be trained on this shit, and if the next COVID happens, I'm not going to know whether I'm talking to Clinton or if Clinton is fucking dead in a ditch somewhere in Minnesota because fucking, maybe we got the New World Order, and like, I'm not going to know. I could just be talking
Nope.
with a facsimile of you that was based on our first two conversations. I mean, and I would probably be oblivious, and you wouldn't. And the same thing applies to you. You'd be like, I don't even know if Sweden is still on the map because I don't have any information that I can 100% verify. I mean, we're really, so that's why it's like it highlights the importance of real world connections. Like, I know that I met you last summer. That is what we
Yeah,
know for
secret
sure.
code word that only you guys know.
What's that?
I said you have to have a secret code word that only you guys know. And you
Yeah,
know
and
what it
not just
is?
that, but also like when you actually can meet somebody in person and
We
share
already
an
know what it
experience.
is. You don't. We know.
It's gonna be guys.
But
No.
here's the problem. You're
What?
never going to be able to be unsurveilled in coming up with your code word.
Exactly.
Like right
But
now, all
we
of your
don't. But see,
devices are listening.
that's why you and I, we don't have to talk about what it is. We just know what it is. So there's no point
Exactly.
in even like.
Yeah,
So
our
we don't
code
need to
word
like
is
put it out
knowing
there
each
to know,
other.
because at this point, if like they were to be like, oh well, they've already said we haven't said there is no code word, so it doesn't matter. We know what it is, but
Yeah.
it's not ever going to know because we've never actually clarified it. They can only go based off of what,
Mm,
they may think. So it's,
exactly.
what,
You know what the
so it's
system
like,
would say? The
although we
computer.
may have actually probably made it somewhat, but anyways, I don't know.
I'm gonna make it a little bit easier for the future AI that tries to clone us and imitate us. It's
Ugh,
not
shit.
it's not Weens.
Wait, what?
It's not Weens, and I'll tell you why. Because we've already talked about it too much. It would be obvious.
God, what I
So
was saying. That's what I was
I
saying.
know, but that's what
That's
I'm
what I
saying.
was
But it's
thinking
too
too.
obvious. It's too obvious.
Yeah. Well,
It's not
not really
Weens,
though.
man. No, but you know what it is? It's not Weens, but it is Weens. You know what I'm saying? It's
I
not.
don't think it's necessary. No, you know what it is? It's not necessarily, it's not even that it is Weens. It is that it is what Weens really is. And we would know that
That's what I'm saying.
based on if we see a video later on and then the AI is trying to like emulate some weird ween chat and it turns it into some weird AI ween, like it'll never get it right because it doesn't quite understand what Weens is.
Bro, that just made me realize that's our app, dude. If we ever did a startup, like a tech startup, the app should be Ween Chat. Good name, dude.
Dude, you should have just named the podcast Weens.
Yeah, that's true. But I just want to be very clear about that because I've had a sense that you might be feeling a certain way about posting it the way that I did and how I did it and under the name that I did it. I've already expressed to you. I've made several things very clear. Number one, Um, I have several friends that I've had discussions with about having individual podcasts. And what I started to realize was like the only thing that actually makes sense is like it actually started with my friend David here in Sweden where we talked about a podcast and then he said, "Well, let's do a trial run on just Zoom. Like see if we can actually come up with stuff to talk about." And we did that. And then afterwards I was like, yeah. And then I was thinking about all the conversations we have, and I think about all, FaceTimes, whatever. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I would love to do a podcast with David, and I would love to do a podcast with Clinton, whatever. But the only thing I can control is like my ability to initiate and want to talk to somebody and record it. And I don't want to be limited in terms of like, if like right now, without any sort of plan or infrastructure, if we just decided to turn this into its own separate thing, I'm a little bit in a position where I'm like, well, I just want to call people and talk to them. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I also told you before. I also made this very clear when we were talking about going live on TikTok and whatever, which is like, I think we should create our own separate accounts, which then basically are intersecting personalities on social media, which basically benefits all of us. Like, what if when I'm posting these things, somebody's like, okay, this is cool and all. Like, yeah, I know Cole is like the Flora Cash guy, but I really am more interested in Clinton. I want to hear more of what Clinton has to say. I think the smartest thing we can do is that you have your own channel, and then all the conversations we have, we both post, and then you can also do your own thing. And I can do my own thing. And then when like on my thing, when I do it, I at you and you're like added in the description. And when you post your thing of you and me,
Well, yeah, that's what do they call that? Networking type of
yeah, but
deal.
I think that's the smartest way to do it. And I also think it gives both of us like a sense of freedom and whatever autonomy. So, and that's the way I'm going to have the same conversation with David because I was like, I've talked with him about doing a podcast for so long. And it's like, dude, just let me post the conversation that we had together on Zoom. And then if you ever want to do a podcast for real, like we can do that. But that needs to be like its own separate universe, like not really separate in that sense, but it's like it's its own thing where it's like a focused and thought out. Maybe you don't think out the subjects, but it's like I don't want the line to be blurry for me between like if I
Well,
record.
see, that's the thing about I feel like I don't know, like with with podcasts, I guess it's kind of hard to explain, right? But I don't know. I mean, everybody has their own like niche and thing they're interested in, right? That's why there are so many like different podcasts out there for different things. You got like the religious side, you've got like politics, you got basketball, you got baseball, you got sports, you got all kinds of different shit that people talk. You got Joe Rogan, right? Who's just like the umbrella for everything, regardless, he's kind of very neutral in every which way and
But so
maybe leans.
I sort of see myself as more of that, but on a like a more like a that's an old paradigm because now that's becoming almost so mainstreamed that it's like almost cliche.
Yeah, but at
Like,
the same time, it's like I think there's still um some merit to like having authenticity in a conversation, like having a podcast with some authenticity. Like
yeah, that's
Rogan
I
does it
agree.
himself, right? But having people that you can talk to like with a natural conversation as opposed to like a forced, type of thing. Obviously, you get guests on or different people on, and there's specific things you talk about or want to talk about, and that's, but like I just think of like the Bad Friends podcast. If you've ever watched any
Yeah,
snippets
yeah.
of that, like it's a very two good friends, right? Very natural conversation. It's not like you're watching something that's forced. They're just sitting there talking and they're doing their thing, like as they would be doing it is if they were sitting, right next to each other without the cameras and without
Yes, yes.
the mics and everything. They're just sitting there chatting and doing their friend thing. So I think that for me with Bad Friends is what is I don't really watch their podcast, but I watch some of their snippets and some of that shit's hilarious. And it kind of just reminded me of the shit we've talked about sometimes in the past where I'm like, oh my God, if we would have done this or if we would have done that, because they sit on there and they do these scenarios and it's like Cole and I have been doing these scenarios since we were fucking 12 years old. And now these guys go up and they
Exactly.
blow up and that's kind of what they do. Like their whole like their podcasts are like they bring guests on and stuff and they joke around and then they go into these scenarios and it's like god damn, I just thought it's like
Okay,
fuck
okay,
we've been
okay. So let me propose because I think the future is like there are no rules anymore because AI is about to take
right.
over everything. So here's the way I think about this. Right now,
Okay.
so here's the way my brain works. Okay. So we've been doing this and I've recorded a lot of these. I've also recorded some with some other people, etc. And I've been sort of thinking in the paradigm of like I have a thing I have a like an impulse that I'm channeling into discipline, which is I'm recording things and I'm having conversations that I want to have anyway. So I would have the same conversation whether we were recording or not. Like I'm only calling
Right.
you because I want to talk to you. And I was
Right.
actually thinking about that after the Alex thing. I was like, man, I'm starting to feel like maybe, I don't know, it's time for a little bit of a break because my interests are changing. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm almost, I'm like too much. It's like, I'm making this more of, it's starting to look like, oh, I'm trying to contact Clinton all the time. But I also,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know me, like I have my phases. So I'm like, okay, I sense myself going out of this phase and and that's the thing is like I need to know that like because this thing of like recording Zoom meetings that I have with any sort of a friend, but in your case it's a good friend, like one of my best friends, if not my best friend actually,
Mm-hmm.
like over a period of time. So you end up you like in this era, you're absorbing the bulk of that. But I can see myself like a year from now in a different life situation where I'm zooming other people for a while. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I have to like sort of honor the fact that like I'm gonna continue with this concept regardless, no matter what's happening. So then I have to say there's a space for that, and I don't want this to be wasted. Like what if our concept never comes to fruition and then these things just languish on my hard drive. So my thought is like, okay, this is my initial like, okay, if you do this then other actions will follow because now it becomes real, right? So that also motivates. But then to show you where my head is at, I posted this one and then I posted the second, like the first one and then the second one, right? And
Mm-hmm.
just tonight, I posted the first one to the Floracast channel. So it's live right now, but I may delete it. But I'm trying to move some of the audience from Floricash over to this. And what I'm saying is like, if we have a channel where it is like 50-50 for real, but I still also think you should have your own thing because I think that's reasonable. It should be, on equal footing in that sense. But
Right.
say like we can repost all of these things as part of that as well. You see what I'm saying? So I think like the lines are blurry between it's not like something has to be exclusive to one channel. It can be like, okay, we can have a Cole and Clinton channel and then all of the Cole and Clinton things we do on my end go on that channel like it posted as a separate thing which is totally like separately administered and everything, and you could even do that on your own, but then your
Right.
channel might be a recorded Zoom call with frickin' Colton Storseth, and I'm not involved at all, and then that should just live on your channel. And but then the Cole and Clinton thing, like we both just say like everything that we do, it goes on Cole and Clinton. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes
Well,
for a cash if it could garner a little bit of extra attention or something like that. Like I'm sort of watching it and it's kind of funny how the algorithm is killing this, even though I have almost 500,000 subscribers on Cash. It's like I have 4 people watching right now. So
hmm
it's kind of fascinating. But anyway, I just wanted to give you that download. And
Yeah, well, I think the 4 people are probably bots, but no, that's why I was saying, honestly, it's probably what it is. There maybe one of them are real. But yeah, whatever that does, yeah, the algorithm is definitely weird because you do have that many subscribers, and it's like maybe it's just because you're going out of your lane. I don't know,
well,
and
yeah,
it's not.
I'm sure it is that.
So, but at the
Partially.
same time, I think we should do uh TikTok live.
Oh yeah,
I'm very curious as of to how
can I
that will work
can I tell
because
you
I
something?
because I'm scrolling TikTok all the time and I come
Yeah,
across random ass people
can
doing
I tell you
random
something?
ass things and there's like 300 people watching
I,
like
I need
randomly.
I need to say this. I need to interrupt you only because I know your time is limited, and because also, bottom line is the issue with TikTok, and I've looked into this. I want to do this as
Okay.
well, and I think we should do this. And as I said, we have to do it from separate accounts and all that.
Right, yeah.
I mean, literally, that's the way it is. Like,
I've got the account made, so
okay,
I'm waiting till we do it one day.
I know, but here's the thing. I don't, I have, and this is so silly, but I need to be comfortable and figure out the logistics for how you record that. Because apparently on TikTok, when you go live on TikTok, it doesn't save the recording. I mean, there's something where you like can theoretically go in and save it, but it's like it's not really about that. Like with YouTube, if we went live for real, it would record that automatically. TikTok, I'm gonna have to use some sort of third party sort of like streaming service thing, and connecting, say, Zoom. Like right now, if we could just go live on TikTok, we could go live on YouTube, but I can't just go live on TikTok from within Zoom. If I could, we would have already done it because I agree with you. But I'm actually saying that like logistically, I haven't figured that out. So if that's something that's because if that's something that's been on your mind, I'm down. But then you need to do a little research because I'm a little bit at the point where it's just like, okay, it's not worth
Oh,
it.
so you just want me to figure out how to get it? Do you want it like how do you want it recorded?
Well, I'm just saying
Like
that
in which like what are you
we need
thinking
it.
of just to have it on record or do
No,
you
but
want it
like a
like how we
cloud.
do it
No,
on
I'm
Zoom
saying
with the transcription?
no, but I don't care about the transcription because all the
Okay.
platforms can do that on their own, like after
Right.
it's uploaded.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm saying that I want the cloud backup of where I have the full thing and then it can be posted on multiple platforms under multiple channels or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like I just want the raw thing, even if it's but the problem is that it feels like TikTok is more oriented toward they want you to stream specifically to TikTok. And they
And
don't
you want to be able to upload it. Well, no, I get what you're saying. You want to have it as a backup and be able to put it out somewhere else.
exactly. It's that simple. But
Well,
it's surprisingly unsimple to actually make that happen. And if you can make that a simple process, I'm down, but I need to know exactly how to do it. Because right now I just
I'll
dead ends.
when I get back home from, I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna leave here. When I get back home here, after I pick Cypern up, I'll get on my computer and look into it. I
Yeah,
mean,
please do.
I already have a few ideas of what can be done. I just have to figure out how we want to go about it. Are we using? Because I think we can use TikTok now on the computer, can we not?
No, but you
Like
can.
you,
There's like a creative studio on desktop that's available.
okay.
I think it's
And I
through the
haven't looked into
browser.
that. Like,
I think it's
so,
through a browser though. It's not like a native. It's not like
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'll figure it out. I'm sure I don't know how extensively you've looked, but,
no, but I mean,
um,
and I will continue to because it's important to me as well. Like, I'm not going to just trust you to do it because I do want this to actually happen. But it's more like if that's more of a priority for you in terms of trying to see how it goes, I would love to do it. But I just keep like defaulting towards sort of like I'm an archivist. So it's like I save things and then eventually I find the motivation to like cut out some of the stuff that I thought was a little too much. Like I actually cut
right.
whatever, but
Or, as
but post
well,
it
you
later
could,
because then you have some like it's
yeah,
actually.
well, well, I'm saying, depending on how it goes, we could also, um, post the videos just on TikTok.
Yeah, we could,
Like
but
you
I
could
think
have them edited and post certain parts of it to like get
but
it, you know.
the live thing is like I mean we could post clips and we should post clips
Right,
and like
right. That's kind of
but
what I'm getting at.
but the
Like in
live
terms of that,
thing,
just to like get an algorithm actually going, and
yeah.
then people listening, and maybe you'll get a subscriber here, a random person here and there, and then you'll get like a, I don't know how many you have on your account on, like on my main account, I have like 2,000 people or something,
On
and then
TikTok,
like yeah, and
but
then on like my,
I have to go from a
but
new
on my
company.
new
Yeah.
account that I made, obviously I have zero because I haven't used it. I just
Exactly,
made it.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
So
Yeah, and TikTok has been weird for us too. Like we should have,
because if you just even just posting random things on there, depending, you know, certain things, right, will pick up certain things, garner more viewers based on whatever. It's going to be based on what people listen to and what we're talking about, what we
exactly.
say, yada yada yada. So I was like, okay, you know, but I think doing that just to pick up, and TikTok kind of sucks, but I mean, I think about using it as like a base to gain an audience and then
No,
move
I agree.
on from that and like have them follow it to YouTube
Well,
type of
not just
deal
that,
where
but not just. I mean, agreed. But like, don't stop there because there's another aspect of this that I think would be super fun and exciting for us, which is that when you go live on TikTok, people can request to join.
that's why I like that. That's
Yeah, I
why
know,
I
and
thought it was a good idea
no,
because
but I'm
what we
saying
talk about, we are more than welcome to bring in the, and that's
yes,
why I said that's why I always thought it like what you said, right? It's a little weird because like you said, you know, okay, and I can't archive this, I can't do that. But that's why I said like I think it might be a good idea to try it because like I said, like I'll be scrolling and there's random people, you know, and it's like they're sitting there talking to random people. They got like 3, 4, 500 viewers, you know, maybe some of the more popular people. But it's like one of those things where if you go on there and you have something to talk about and you have something intelligent to say and you are willing to bring in people, you know, then people are going to sit there and they're going to listen and then they're going to wait because they're going to want to join. And it kind of goes from there because then you've got people, okay, if you want to join, you've got to donate this or that to it, right? They have their little things that they donate, which costs, you know, like what, 10 cents to like $100 or whatever it is, right? That they, okay, they donate. So you start getting these people and you start getting people in who want to talk. They will spend that few dollars to be like, okay, I'm going to get in on this chat
yeah, for
type of
sure,
deal.
for sure, for
So
sure.
it's a good way
Fuck
to
yeah,
like
dude.
garner an audience because it's so just easy to flip through and you just get random people who
Exactly.
join. And like as long as you're sitting there, I feel like talking about something, they will sit and stay, whether it's not to agree or disagree with you. And then, you know, once you get enough viewers, then it's like, I mean, even like you get those random people like when before a football game, they'll be on there and they'll have their live set and they're like recording like a football game that you're not actually supposed to see, and they got like 5,000 people subscribed to their thing, and then of course they get banned, right? Because they're, it's not supposed to, but I'm saying like they'll get like 5,000 people following them randomly, and it's like just random shit like that, like it's you
Well,
just
and
scroll
also
through
think
and
about this. Like, think about a scenario like this in that same vein. Let's imagine that I mean, like, because if we know that we're going live on TikTok,
Mhm.
we're at least cognizant enough to say, okay, this is a unique platform. So
Right.
let's go and just see what's trending. And then it's like
Mhm.
it'll probably be, I mean, either stuff that we're interested in or stuff that we have an opinion about. So it's like
Right.
and the thing about the algorithm is going to be like if we're just sitting here going live and we're talking about all the top 10 trending things, the algorithm is going to hear that because the AI just keeps getting better and better, and it's going to direct people to us. Like in the same way in the sports sense, it's like if Alien 12 is top of the if Alien 12 is top of the conversation,
Right.
it's going to be an
Trending.
easy thing for us to just be like, bro, let's talk Alien. And then when we do that, the algorithm is going to be sending that message of like, yeah, transcript says alien, alien, alien. Yeah.
They're
So
talking about it and they
yeah,
put it to somebody who's scrolling it right then
so
and there
like
because
even
they're interested in it.
exactly. So even if we do the bare minimum effort of just say like what is trending, and we don't have to talk about it, but it'll at least give us something to fucking talk about. Like who cares? Why not? Right? Did you hear what I said?
No, what'd you say? Sorry, my kid called.
Oh no, it's fine. Um, no, but I'm just saying like we at least have the wherewithal to say like,
Hmm.
okay, when we go live on TikTok, let's do the bare minimum and say, what are the top 10 trending things? Even if we are like, okay, whatever, that's boring, let's not talk about it. But maybe we're like, oh God, that makes me think about blah, blah, blah. And then we talk about it. And then, we can probably come up with, I mean, even if we don't try, we'll probably be like, oh,
Oh,
I have to talk about it because it makes me think of fucking Star Wars and blah, 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 or
right, or whatever it is, yeah.
whatever
And
it is.
you can segue into whatever the heck.
Yeah.
And
And
then
you
you
can,
get people who
yeah.
are like, "What are you guys even talking about?" And it's like, "What do you mean? What are we talking about?"
How
And
do
then
you
we
not,
go
how
into
do you
it.
not get it?
Yeah, it's weens. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I think our main goal for TikTok though should be to get weens like trending.
I agree. I agree. I think Weens needs to be brought up as almost like an Easter egg because people will, we like if we don't go overboard, like we will drop it with as an inside gesture, and eventually
But
people.
I think it should be. I think it should be. I think we can. You know how funny it would be to see weens in the top 10 trending things on TikTok, and people are like starting to post like random like shit just about weens, and then like what better idea? Weens, and we can do like the whole like Matt Lawley voice and really blow Matt Lawley up. Not only will he have been famous in high school, he is now TikTok famous,
I
and
want
then
to. I
we
agree.
just make all sorts of shit right off Matt Lawley.
Yeah, but no, but isn't this the beauty of this? This is like you're getting into my master plan here, because how our master plan also okay, but how great would it be if like because I just thought about this like 5 seconds ago. I was like, man, what if like the next phase of my life I'm successful and Clinton's successful in a totally different like thing that I would never expect, he would never expect. And then if you extrapolate that, you can say like, dude, if we like just these episodes like with Billy Fletcher and whatever, like Billy could become like people would be like, I want to hear more about Billy Fletcher. And then next thing like like why not just talk to people and how cool would it be if suddenly they find like a fan base? You know what I mean? Like people could just be like, I'm Team Billy. And I mean fucking cool, dude. How cool would that be? Fucking awesome. So yeah, it
That'd
starts
be
with like
wild.
Ollie or Billy or Alex or whatever. Like these are great characters, man. These are great characters.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've got it. We as long as we add that character. Well, Billy doesn't really need a character behind him. He's his own character. But like,
Oh,
Matt's a little boring, right?
Billy's
But
the
you
main
freshen
character.
Billy up and you freshen Matt up a little bit with a bit of like an affectation that people get a gist of, and then they see him and they're like, oh my god, and they just love him,
But,
and they're like,
but, but, but Clinton,
then you
I
got
do
people walking around
worry.
going, guys, huge, guys,
I do worry though that it's like, do these imitations veer too much into the realm of like, do they look like
bullying.
do they look like bullying to people?
No, I think they look like a comedian doing an affectation of anybody's voice
Yeah,
who's
you're
in
right.
Hollywood or not. Like it's just like somebody's form of haha, they're friends. It's really funny.
Yes,
Like when
and
somebody does like the Arnold voice, you're doing the Billy voice or you're doing the Matt Lawley because that's always what it was referred to as. Nobody ever said like anybody you talk to in school, nobody ever said like made like bad about Matt Lawley. They would always just say, dude, do the Matt Lawley. Like it wasn't ever like about anything else. It was like it became
it's
known
not like
as
they were giving Matt Lolly wedgies in the bathroom. Like
right. We gave him a platform to stand on. He
that's
became
true,
who he was in school because of that voice.
bro. He became legendary in a way.
He did,
Basically, we immortalized people, dude.
pretty much.
And actually, like, because I mean, it was always kind of in good fun. I mean,
That
there
you know what was crazy is like back then we were doing things that were viral that weren't even viral because there was no platform
oh,
for it.
I know, but
We
I'm
missed the
telling you,
boat, bro, on a lot of
no, but
things.
listen, whatever. Deal with the world as it is. Trust me on this. Here's the thing: you need to
Okay.
create a channel, call it whatever you want on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah, yeah, and then
Okay.
post like whatever it is that I post, like I that implicitly is consent for you to post it because obviously I was comfortable with it. So you can post.
Okay.
And then we also should have a dual channel on YouTube where anything that intersects between both of us gets posted on the dual channel. But then like each one of us still has our own separate like whatever kind of like having conversations with people thing. I think that's very smart
Okay.
for both of us. When it comes to YouTube or sorry, TikTok, again, sort of same principle. It's like you got your thing, I got my thing, and then they intersect, and then
Right.
we try to be smart about it. But if we want to have like a joint TikTok at some point where it's like it's only you and me, then that would also be super cool. And then we could like cross post things there as well. So I just think like think cross pollination and also think about your own like self interest here. Like you need to have
I'll be back.
you need to have your own place for people that are like I'm Team Clinton to go. So
Right. No, I get what you're saying.
and actually, honestly, like I would say, because this concept is so sort of just flying by the seat of my pants, like something I got a bee in my bonnet about it. This is one
Yeah.
scenario where if you wanted to, because this is like the ground floor of this, I think it would be reasonable if you think about it and meditate on it, and you want to do a channel that says Clinton has no friends, like basically a sort of yin and yang to this like thing, go for it. I wouldn't take that as like a thing, but if you're thinking more like no, I want to make my own unique identity thing, then I think that's the way to go. But if you
I don't know. It's hard to say. That's kind of dependent on um how joint we become.
yeah, but I
Like,
think like
if
still
there is
keep
a
your
thing
own.
like on the ground floor running, I get it, whether it takes off or not. But I
Exactly.
mean anything. I mean, you can make anything happen. It's just a
But
matter
no,
of
but it's also a little bit of an
how
edgy
much work
concept.
somebody
Like
puts into it.
I'm using a lot of irony in that name, and I also understand that it comes with like some downfalls. So I think the most important thing is this: create a YouTube channel and meditate on a good like name for it that captures you as a person, that actually expresses. I think it's important to have your name in there, especially nowadays. And I think even Joe Rogan proved that, right? Like have your name in it, but then whatever you want to do around that, or you have an alias. I mean, like there's Destiny and there's Asmongold, and like I don't, I mean, maybe that's a good way to go as well. Like, and I know I'm sort of contradicting myself because I have the owl thing, but there's something in me that says like on YouTube it's more of an archive, and it's like YouTube is more of an archival type of platform. I like personas and like code names in other platforms, but on YouTube, I sort of feel like this is kind of like a world archive. It's YouTube. I mean, it's, you know. So my personal opinion is maybe incorporate your name, but also like do what you got to do. Just create a channel, and then like we cross post, and then we can also have a third channel if we want, that is like a only you and I. And then if we have that, and that's like where all the, I mean, like inevitably when action goes there, then we could actually do some like produced things. Like maybe next time I'm in Minnesota, or maybe you come to Sweden or something, we do some studio stuff, we do some whatever. But that's, yeah, that's my view is like create your own channel, cross post the stuff for team for people that are wanting to see Team Clinton. And then now that we've opened up this door, like you probably have a lot of conversations with people all the time that I would never want to talk to, and blah 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 blah, and it doesn't have anything to do with me. Like, hey, just think, hey, maybe I should just send them a Zoom meeting and record it, and then get their permission and put it up on, the Clinton channel. That would be my prescription. But yes,
Good prescription. No, I'm listening. Don't worry.
no, I
I'm
know you
taking
are.
it
That's the
all
thing.
in and just thinking.
I'm actually a little bit intimidated by how much you're listening. I'm like, oh God, he's
No, I'm just trying to think about kind of like the whole brainstorming thing, I guess
oh,
brainstorming things, but it's really hard to think about because if like I'm posting a channel, it's like I'm thinking about like, all right, am I doing, podcast conversations or what am I doing on my channel?
yeah, exactly. What are you doing on your channel? That's a good question,
Right.
because you
So
can
it's
do a
like,
little
I
bit of
mean,
a variety.
that's kind of the route I want to take because it'd be fun to do, some sort of podcast thing. But um, at the same time, if you're doing that, there's a big cat out here, and then I'm doing something different, then we're bringing in like two different groups of viewers, and then we have like conjoined thing as well. Then they all go there as well. So it's like doing something that's the same but different, or maybe something. I don't know. It's hard to say. I've thought about this stuff for like off and on for a fucking long time about doing something, and it's just like, what do I do on a channel? and
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with it as far as like content goes. It's like
Yeah,
the
but that's the
hardest thing
thing.
because everybody always does stuff,
Start
but
with what
everybody's
you
already
already.
done it all. So it's like,
No, but that's why I love this format, because it's like everybody's already done it all. But the thing is, like, this conversation could never happen between two other people, and it could never happen at this exact time in this exact culture in this situation where I'm in Sweden and you're in Minnesota. Like, you have to start seeing the environment itself as art, because art is becoming so cheap. It's like AI can generate anything. It's like I can't, I mean, if somebody wants to generate all the songs they listen to in less than a few years, it's going to be possible. Like, we're going to be living in isolated, siloed bubbles of information, and I think, like, the
yeah.
only
So we're gonna be losing what like the human interaction and like actual
exactly, and
physical
this is why
medium of what we have going as opposed to what
this
it's
is the art. This is the art. What we're
yeah.
doing right now is the only art left. I'm sorry to say, and this is coming at it actually hurts my heart to say that, but this is, and I actually posted this like 4 years ago on our Instagram. I said I was like having like a stoned and drunk night, and I said, I put in our bio, I said future podcast, because that's the only job that will be left. And I didn't really expect it was going to come this fast, but I think it's coming, buddy. I mean, AI is going to inundate everybody's attention with a bunch of AI generated stuff, and the eventually, once this kind of the dust settles, there's going to be a whole new zeitgeist of this, which is like, oh, let's find out what's real. Let's find out who the real people were and what they were saying, and what was it that they actually thought and what they talked about. Like, that's way more interesting than that's just how we are as humans, like, this is the last art. And it's, my philosophy now is like, I'm going to continue making music because I like to do it, but
Right.
I am under no illusions about the fact that every single day that goes by that these AI music generators exist, I am becoming more and more diluted and competing with a sea of content. I mean, it's just flooding everything. And
Yeah, well, that's what and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. It's like
but that's the point. Is
it's
actually
hard to
the
find.
small moment. You got to
It's
think
still
like a
hard to find
historian.
something that content wise, because there's all sorts of it out there. But at the same time, there's all sorts of people who eat it all up too. Like that's why I don't know. It's
Well, no, exactly. There's more
because
consumers
so
than
we
also
post
more
content,
demand.
right, and then our shit gets flooded in a sea of mediocrity
Yeah, exactly.
because
But,
everybody's already
but
doing it. So
this
what?
is why I switched the model. Like, the way that my brain works is I switched to the model of historian and archivist. I think, like, this is like what you want to actually do is create something that's a true commentary on the time that you live, and something that everybody else can't do. And now we are left with basically ourselves. Like, nobody can be me right now as I am, and nobody can be you right now as you are. Nobody can be in the exact second and moment and situation that you're in right now. Nobody can be in the exact moment and second and situation that I'm in right now. So basically, what we are creating right now is a true work of art. It's the only art left. Everything else is taken. The only thing left is for me to be myself in this moment and for you to be yourself in this moment. And then if we record it, that becomes the artwork.
Hmm.
That's it. That's the only thing left. I mean, I can make music all day long, but I've gone through this scenario in my head, and I have all sorts of theories about how people are going to prove that something was real and not real, and AI and whatever. But, like, at the end of the day, anything I put out now, nobody knows whether it was AI generated or not. And basically, so I'm fucked, because it's like, I don't even, like, even if I have integrity, I can't prove I have integrity.
Yeah.
I can't, like, and eventually it's like, so I envision a system that the AI will go through all my data and be able to prove to some historian historically, like when they're looking at it, it'll say like, yeah, but that was actually, he worked on that. That was real. They worked on that. Cole and Spressa actually made that. They recorded it. They did it. There's
Mhm.
enough metadata to
Uh,
prove that, right?
Yeah.
But most people don't give a fuck.
Well,
And the bottom line is like, the bottom line is that the only thing that actually is left that is 100% actually real is low quality bullshit Zoom meetings between two people that actually truly exist, that can actually go and, like, I could fly a few hours and I could hang out with you. That's what we got left. That's it. So this is your art, this is my art, this is the only art that is remaining. Welcome.
Welcome to the world of art.
So now, when we get off the phone, put that into context about what I said about you having a channel, me having a channel, having a third channel. Like, if they're gonna flood us with AI, we're gonna flood them with reality. You see
All
what
right. All right. Well, I gotta go get my kid.
Yep. Hey, I love you, brother. Take care of yourself, man.
Love you too, brother. See ya.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.